Good evening, Miss Deepika. Good evening, Miss Deepika. Welcome to Uncovering India's interaction. Today's episode, as we know, is regarding your wonderful research that you have recently done, which speaks about biofilms and bacteria and implants. So, without much ado, we would like to know more about this research from you. What exactly is this research? Can you please reflect more on it?
Okay, first of all, thank you for having me and diving directly into my research now. So, what I am doing my PhD at Nanyang Technological University in Singapore right now. And here in School of Chemical and Biomedical Engineering, my work has been mostly studying bacterial infections, but in a laboratory setup, I must say that and finding different treatment methods to actually help treat these infections. So, to be more specific, bacterial infections can form anywhere in your body, especially in, say, implants that have been artificially inserted. Urinary tract infections are one, and even the plaque on your teeth is a part of bacterial film. So, bacteria actually exist in two forms. One is free floating form, which is known as planktonic phase, and the other is biofilm form. So, all these infections that I just mentioned in the body, they 65% of those are actually biofilm related. Now, your next question will be okay, what is biofilm? So, biofilm is basically microcolonies of bacteria. So, one bacteria will just find a surface, call its other friends, and they all start to form a film on this particular surface on in a solid liquid interface. And then once all the bacteria aggregate on this surface, they shield themselves in a slimy layer. This slimy layer consists of sugar molecules, polysaccharides, proteins, DNA, lipids, so on and so forth. So this protective shield in a healthcare setup, what happens is this inactivates or dilutes the effect that antibiotic can have. But again, in surgical or in clinical setups, antibiotics is the treatment method for treating bacterial infections or biofilms. But since biofilms are so much stronger, antibiotics or other antimicrobial agents are not as effective. So there is a need to find alternative approaches. And I am working on such an alternate approach where no chemistry or making a new antibiotic or antimicrobial agent is required because that is very time consuming. Okay, so moving on, my approach here has been to use a mechanical stimulus. So why not use sound waves, ultrasound, to actually treat these biofilms? But while doing that, the basic question is okay, we'll move ahead, we'll treat it with ultrasound. But then, what exactly are the interactions between these bacterial biofilms and ultrasound? So that has been my basic question that I've tried to answer here.
So basically, you are trying to say that the bacterial infection that happens in the body, so they are developing or they have a tendency to have drug resistance, antibiotic resistance. And so we are looking for alternatives like ultrasound to have a better outcome of treatment for these bacterial infections in the body.
Exactly. So, ultrasound, one, it's non invasive, which has already been proven by the use of diagnostic ultrasound. That is when you just image what is inside your body using diagnostic ultrasound. And two, it can be easily miniaturized into a portable equipment.
So in a clinical setup, say in an hospital, we know hospital-acquired infection is a major issue today. Suppose there is a organ transplant or there is a implant of say a pacemaker or your artificial knee or a hip joint. So in that, many a times we have seen that body tends to reject foreign bodies, the foreign implants, transplants, organs. So could that be also due to this bacterial infection? Could they have a risk of bacterial infection, and can they be also treated with your ultrasound technology?
So one reason for the rejection would be that during the surgical procedure for the insertion of these implants, one, the perfect sterile environment may not be maintained, or the technique of the doctor may not be as proficient, which may lead to entry of microorganisms. And yeah, once there is entry of microorganisms or bacteria, there will be biofilm formation. I wouldn't go as far as saying that it happens every time body rejects an organ or an implant, but every time a bacteria enters the body through some way, there will be a bacterial infection. Yes.
So in those circumstances also, can your this technology that you are working on, the ultrasound technology, can it be implemented there to treat these kind of problems?
Definitely, it has potential. So the ultrasound that I use specifically, it's called high intensity focused ultrasound, and this has already been adapted for other diseases like cancer treatment or even opening the blood-brain barrier and treating the tremors in Alzheimer's or Parkinson's patients. So there is data, there is results showing that ultrasound can penetrate the body, and if you have a target, it'll treat it. So now what we are exploring is bacterial infections.
Mhm. So,
There is
any kind of testing in a real setup has been done by you and your teams to have a more authentic result on the tests that you are doing?
uh, so before we moved on to that part, first we just needed to know the basic statement is how exactly the interaction between bacteria and ultrasound occur
Mhm.
before we introduce the complications introduced by human cells
Mhm.
or implants. So even implants, sometimes they are metallic. Okay, so metallic materials will lead to loss of acoustic energy, loss of ultrasound energy, and that's why before we even introduce all these complications, we had to do a simplistic experiment in a perfectly acoustically transparent setup. So what I did was I grew my biofilms on a plastic sheet, which easily allows the transmission of acoustic waves. And that's why the interactions that we got were purely between the sound wave and bacteria. Slowly, from this understanding, I think other research groups may start introducing human cells or even animal cells just to get a better understanding.
So this indication that you have got that there is a potential of ultrasound waves in dealing with bacterial infection, but you did it in a very artificial setup. So how do you think will it have as far as success is concerned when if it is tested on say animal model or human model?
Okay, so as I said, the ultrasound transducer that I've been using is focused ultrasound. So this ultrasound focuses on very small focal volume, and this will uh, avoid any off target side effects.
Mhm.
So
The
I
targeted
think
delivery.
yeah, there is a long way to go as to if the bacterial infection is spread on a larger area. How do we incorporate this focused ultrasound into such setup? So all that understanding is still needed, but the energy is focused to very small volumes, and at that place you have the most intense effect.
So, how did you come about this concept that this can be done? Who were the people who were the guiding force for you? How did you come to this conclusion?
Okay, so this project is a brainchild of my supervisor, I must say. His name is James Kwan. He's an associate professor at Oxford University right now.
Mhm.
Um, his, when I joined the lab was mostly ultrasound based. So we use therapeutic ultrasound for various diseases. And my part in it was applying this ultrasound to bacterial infections. And even bacterial infections, when I started with it, I was very new. Thankfully, NTU Singapore hosts Biofilm Research Excellence Center. It's called Singapore Center for Life Sciences and Engineering. And the scientists and people there were very helpful. So I think I would specifically like to name Enrico Marsili, who is currently in Nazarbayev University in Kazakhstan, and Associate Professor Scott Rice, a microbiologist here. And so these three people were instrumental in helping me with the work go forward. So their inputs mattered a lot. And I think from there on, I took it upon myself to actually run the work. And this is where we are, where we saw very interesting results.
So, going ahead, what kind of collaborations do you think this study would need to take it to a more applied on a more applied level for to be used in the health care sector?
Okay, so I think currently the setup that I used was pretty simplistic in a way that we couldn't get even before and after effects. So what we had to do was run a parallel experiment with another biofilm sample which wasn't exposed to ultrasound at all. But moving forward, what we are trying to adapt is take this whole setup towards real time monitoring. So we are trying to incorporate electrochemical sensing, and this will be actually monitoring the growth of biofilms over time. And once ultrasound comes into the picture, how the bacterial cells viability and this microstructure of these biofilms change can also be studied using electrochemistry. So what we are moving towards is more real-time approach. Currently, in a laboratory setup, mostly characterization is important. Okay, I have applied ultrasound to the bacteria, but what happened, we don't know. We need characterization techniques for that. So in a laboratory setup, what we mostly adapt is confocal microscopy. Yeah, and that gave me the best results. But moving forward, I think if we are supposed to just pick it up right now and throw it into a healthcare setup, I cannot do it because confocal microscopes and all are expensive setups, and they may not be as easy for clinicians to record the changes that's happening. And that's why we introduced this electrochemical sensing technique, which is easily commercializable. So it is an easier bench lab space to market space kind of a technology. And we are trying to move towards that. So real time monitoring of the effects.
So, how do you see the future of this research? Is it going to head to really land up in the pharmaceutical sector or the healthcare sector, or it will just remain as an academic exercise?
So First of all, biofilms are ubiquitous. It's not just in healthcare setup. So even in environmental setups, so in big industrial setups, say water treatment plants and all, on the equipments to the biofilms form. So the problem itself is universal. So this technology can be picked up and be placed into a healthcare setup if you want to deal with infections and so on. And it can also be used in environmental setups. So I would say there is a huge potential for treatment or debridement of biofilms if required using this technology.
Okay, so what would be your message to our viewers, the concluding message? What will you like to tell us as far as the
So
future of your research is concerned, applicability of your research is concerned?
um, I would say that I think I entered a very fascinating research area, and I loved working in this area every way. So for all the young researchers watching this, I would say if you have an idea, just keep working on it, because once you get the result, once you see this interesting result, the happiness will be, I can't even explain, I would say. So all the young researchers, just keep going at it, keep working for it. And other viewers who are watching, I think the technology that we have used here has an ample opportunity to be just picked up and placed into any setup that you want where biofilms are a problem. And even though right now a lot of people may not know what biofilms or biofilm infections are, I think along the way, one time or the other. And at that point, I say that remember that our technology is there. Yeah, that's it.
Great, great. You had a lot of, you have a background of doing a lot of research work in Pune also in Maharashtra. So how much was your exposure in Pune, Maharashtra had a role to play in your further studies and this research?
So even though the topic wasn't on the same lines as what I did in Pune, so in Pune, I worked in, I think, most of the institutes there. So I worked in DIAT, CMET, and NCL. So even though in those institutes, my research topic was mostly nanotechnology based, which wasn't carried on into my PhD, but the research etiquettes, ethics, how to go about a problem, and so all these small things played a huge role in how I approached the problem here. So yeah.
Great. Thank you, Ms. Deepika, for your for taking time out and having an interactive session with us. We wish you all the best for your future and hope that you carry on with the same vein and make your country proud.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
All the best to you. All the best.
Thank you.